Test, 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 test. Good to go. Test, 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 test.
Good morning. Good Friday morning. It's Friday out there. It's Friday here at Blue Jeans Pizza. You know, Lonnie, there's just got to be something. Is there something wrong with like coming into a place in the morning and smelling pepperoni pizza?
No.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
I did it in college for 4 years.
Lonnie said I did it in college for 4 years. Anyhow, I am your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge, Georgia, and we're at Blue Jeans Pizza every Friday morning from 8 to 10. You want to come down and say hello? You don't have to be on the show. You could sit out here in the restaurant and watch the show live anytime you want on Friday mornings from 8 to 10. At 8:15, we're going to have Dr. Whaley in here. We thank the Georgia Cancer Specialist for that segment at 8:15. Ask the Doc. You can always send questions for Dr. Whaley at 706-889-9700 and chief@fetyournews.com. I want to say thank you to those who sent the messages in during last week's show. We're going to address your questions with Dr. Whaley. I was running the show by myself. Lonnie is here today, and I did not get those questions. But we're going to answer those questions you sent in last week with Dr. Whaley here in just a couple minutes. That's at 8:15. At 9 o'clock, we have our all-star panel. If you ever want to come in, there's plenty of room here and be a part of the all-star panel. Don't hesitate. Just get in touch with us, 706-889-9700, chief@fetyournews.com. Or just come up here and say at 9 o'clock, I want to get in on the discussion also. That's Rick, Bruce, and Jane. We get together and we talk for an hour. We wrap up the week of the news and what we hear out there politically and some of the things going on. We do that from 9 to 10. And then at 10 o'clock is North Georgia's #1 news show. Well, I think she's bouncing me from the ratings. If she is, she's in trouble. That's Katy Sissine, the Katy Sissine Show, every day at 10 o'clock here on FYN TV. The indoctrination of the American nation. You got to tune in to see what Katy is focusing on today. Okay, how do we get started here? Let's say CPAC. Are you watching CPAC? Now, CPAC is the Conservative Political Action Committee, and I'm watching CPAC out there. Now, there's been several years that I have not watched a lot of CPAC. Now, not because I didn't want to hear the speakers, but you know, it is for what it's worth. It is a Republican, not Republican. It's not a Republican organization. I don't want to get that confused, but it is a conservative cheerleading weekend. Okay, so conservatives get together, and it is 3 days of cheerleading and what do you call it? The red meat for the people. They throw it out there, conservative one-liners for 3 days, and everybody cheers. I've watched it many times in the past, enjoy it. But this year, particularly this year, I am amazed with CPAC. Because first of all, it is showcasing all of the people that Donald Trump has put in place. You're hearing the media tell you what to think about Kellyanne Conway. You're hearing the media tell you what to think about Priebus and how he's doing in the White House. You hear the media telling you about Steve Bannon, you know, AKA Darth Vader, right? That's what we're hearing. And he never speaks. We just see pictures. We hear the media telling you that Priebus and Steve Bannon do not get along, okay? All of the above. We heard so many negative things during confirmation on new Education Secretary, Department of Education, Betsy DeVos. The list goes on and on. Everybody that has come up to the podium and has given a speech or has been in a discussion panel, they're hitting it out of the park, okay? Now, the highlight yesterday for me was, yes, Mike Pence, I'm going to go into that, the vice president. Great, that's the highlight. But what I enjoyed most was, and I came away yesterday with a newfound, I kind of get Steve Bannon now. I knew of Steve Bannon. I know who he is. I've read Breitbart. I know a lot about him, but I don't know if I 100% connected to Steve Bannon. Yesterday, I connected to Steve Bannon. Now, let me go over some things that he said yesterday. And he validated a lot of things we're saying on this show. So, Steve Bannon says, if you want to see Trump's agenda, people keep wondering, if you want to see Trump's agenda, it was in his speeches. So if you watch those speeches, now Steve Bannon is chief advisor in the White House, and many say is the one pushing the agenda for Donald Trump. Bannon says, hey, if you want to see Trump's agenda and you're trying to figure it out, it was in the speeches. When he made those speeches, that's his agenda. He also went on to say, I took a couple notes, and we're going to talk about them at 9 o'clock with the All-Star panel. The media better understand those promises are going to be met. So for the media, that's just their heads are spinning off in the first 30 days, okay? The promises are going to be met. If Donald Trump was at a speech and he gave those speeches and he made promises to the American people, Bannon said yesterday, they're going to be met, okay? Now, Bannon laid out, and at 9 o'clock I want to go into some more about Bannon and Priebus comments yesterday, but Steve Bannon I want to focus on. He laid out 3 things yesterday. He called it his bucket list, his list of 3. And I don't see room in the Trump administration for globalism. I don't see room in the Trump administration for a one world order, okay? Everything they talk about our national sovereignty. And how refreshing that is, our national sovereignty. So Steve Bannon says yesterday, there's 3 things, okay? There's 3 buckets he likes to put it into. National security and our sovereignty. National security and our sovereignty. Our sovereignty as a nation should be first and foremost, people. That, our security and our sovereignty, and protecting our sovereignty as a nation. Are you going to tell me this administration does not have its priorities in order? Here's the second thing, economic nationalism. Now, he goes on to describe economic nationalism. And I absolutely love that statement because you know what? Donald Trump, the President of the United States, continually says, it's not that he wants fair trade. He wants the trade agreements to be fair. And he wants it to be America first, and he wants every trade agreement and everything we do economically to benefit Americans first. Hey, economic nationalism. Now here is my favorite. And I tell you why, because if you have followed the show throughout the last year, especially during the campaign, okay, and many of us conservatives, okay, many of us conservatives out here, which some question whether Donald Trump would have a conservative agenda. Deconstruction. Now listen to this. Deconstruction of the administrative state. I tell you what, I cannot cheer any louder this morning. These agencies, the Department of Justice, the Department of Education, the Department of EPA, see, in the last 8 years, only 2 of those years did President Obama have his Nancy Pelosi, okay, which we hope she's getting some medication for what she's going through later in life here, Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. All right, I didn't mean to scare you this early on a Friday morning with those 2 names. But he had Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid for 2 years, okay? Then the table shifted, okay? It shifted. And all Barack Obama could do for several years was executive orders. Now, you need to understand that these departments, your EPA, your Department of Education, they have an enormous amount of power through executive branch. They work for the President of the United States. That's why he nominates them. They are on his cabinet. They directly work for the president. The president executive orders are directives to them. They're overbloated. We could do without so many. We can cut some of them we can cut out completely. But I love the deconstruction of the administrative state. Now, I've got a couple minutes here before I get Dr. Whaley in. He also said, I made some notes, rule of law is going to exist when you talk about our sovereignty and immigration. And I want to go to break with talking about rule of law. Folks, in the first 30 days, it's like they said yesterday, Bannon said yesterday, do you remember the media, and yes, the media is the problem here. Do you remember the media during the Trump primary? It was disorganized. Nobody was running the thing. Corey Lewandowski, it was a mess. He had no professionals in the case. It was an absolute chaos, okay? The primary for Donald Trump was absolute chaos, according to the media. He won the nomination. He went into the general election against Hillary Clinton. Hillary had $2 billion, Bannon says. They had hardly anything compared to her financially. The speeches, he said, the speeches did it. But anyhow, the media through the general election, okay? Trump's campaign's in chaos, total chaos. I mean, just completely chaos. Nobody's running the place. He brings in Bannon, Kellyanne Conway, had to get rid of Corey Lewandowski. It's just total chaos. Nobody's running the ship over at the Trump campaign. Guess what? He wins 307 electoral votes, and then you take the one away that Bill Green out in Texas cast his vote for Ron Paul. So 306 electoral votes. He wins the general election. Total chaos. Now the transition team. All we kept seeing was the gold elevator and people going in and out and up and down. And Mike Pence is the head of the total chaos. There is absolutely no structure in this transition team. We're hearing reports just total chaos. Well, he puts together one of the best and most conservative cabinets we've ever seen. And they're at CPAC. I mean, if you want to see what Donald Trump's administration looks like, just keep watching. So that was a mess. It was chaos. Now, the first 30 days of his presidency was chaos. This is the media, total chaos. All right, first 30, everything is chaos. Chaos in the primary, chaos in the general, chaos in the transition, chaos in the first 30 days. So Steve Bannon said, and I want to wrap up two things here. Steve Bannon says yesterday, it's going to get worse. And I agree with him. How many times on this show, if you watch on a daily basis, I'll tell people, relax. All this going on, relax, okay? And this is going to get worse. Bannon resonated that yesterday. This is going to get worse. And this is his quote. This is his quote. If you think they are going to give your country back without a fight, you are sadly mistaken. And that's Steve Bannon's quote yesterday, and that's exactly right, folks. Do not think that this gets better, because the more that Donald Trump tries to put in place the three areas, okay? National security and sovereignty, economic nationalism, and the destruction of the administrative state, it gets worse. Now let me say something about the rule of law. The rule of law, where are we at in this country? Where are we at in this country, the rule of law? Have we become a lawless society? Donald Trump is only enforcing the law, and look at the outrage in this country. He's only enforcing the law. He's only asked General Kelly to enforce the law. He's only asked your local sheriff to enforce the law. He's only asked your mayors, your city council. He's only asked law enforcement to enforce the law. But look at the chaos. Are we a lawless society now? I'm here to tell you this morning that the American people want to return to the day we respected the rule of law. Now listen to me. I'm here to tell you that the American people are ready to return to the day where we respected the rule of law and law enforcement respects the constitutional rights of the people. You see, we're ready to return to the rule of law. At the same time, we want law enforcement to respect the constitutional rights of the people. I'm your host, BKP. Oh, by the way, if it could get any worse, The murder rate's up in Chicago. Yeah, it's up for this year. It's up. Murder rate's up. President Trump's going to speak at CPAC today. Do you think he will discuss Chicago? I think so. Hey, wonder if Donald Trump will denounce violence against the Jews in this country, right? That's what the media will be looking for today. Let's see. One more thing. Lonnie's giving me the hook here. Mike Pence comes out and he says, if my people will pray. We're going to break that down later. Did you read the verse? Have you read the verse that Mike Pence ended his speech last night? If my people will pray and ask God to heal their land. Okay? Interesting. CPAC. Donald Trump, you're president at 10. It's chaos. That's what the media says. I'm your host, BKP. We get right back. We'll have Dr. Whaley here, and we'll go over at 9 o'clock more comments from Steve Bannon and CPAC this week. I'm your host, BKP. Blue Jeans Pizza here in Blue Ridge. Lonnie, take us to break.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
Family-owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices,
friendly service, and delicious Mexican cuisine.
patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
It's a new year. New you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. We're live in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge every Friday morning. Blue Jeans Pizza. And at this time, as our segment, thank you, Georgia Cancer Specialist. We invite Dr. Whaley here at this time every Friday morning. Dr. Whaley, how are you?
I'm great. I'm doing great.
Well, before you get started, I'm going to just walk away and let you go with what you want. But I want to say everything you said came true last week. I've been sniffling, I've been rubbing my nose, things are in bloom.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, I do learn a lot by coming up each week because I try to refresh myself. But I predicted for you in November how bad the flu epidemic is going to be. It has been much worse this week than it was last week when the schools were closed in terms of adults. So the flu thing's not over with. We're not going to talk about Zika, we're not going to talk about medical marijuana. I'm going to go back, and we're going to answer those allergy questions. I've actually learned a lot from that. And the questions that actually came into me this week that didn't come into you were about the article that was in the Chattanooga newspaper following the journal, the American Medical Association article about geographic cancer clusters. And people over in McCaysville worried about them getting cancer because they live next to the old mines, and we talked about that about 3 or 4 months ago. But anyway, what I want to talk about is what you talked about Steve Bannon a few minutes ago. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that the Office of Management and Budget had put out a study that said 40% of the day of a high-intensity medical specialist. I'm a cancer specialist, so high-intensity specialty like this or nephrology or cardiology, 40% of our day is spent on regulatory work, electronic medical record work that is all related to the bureaucrats in the federal bureaucracy that have created this non-patient care burden on healthcare. So I spend 60% of my day treating you and 40% of my day treating the federal government.
Yeah.
All right, now, if you have been to the doctor since January 1, let's assume that you've got high blood pressure and you went in December and your next appointment was in the 1st of February and you went last week, you had to fill out about 8 or 10 pages of HIPAA, health information protection, that you filled out last year. You had to fill out about 8 or 10 pages on advance directives. And do you have a living will? You filled out about 8 or 10 pages on Financial Disclosure Act. So you filled out 30 pages. It took you 30 minutes. You finished with your doctor. And you did this last year. You haven't gone anywhere, you haven't changed jobs, haven't changed insurance, got the same family you had before. And you don't even care about, you don't think somebody's selling your medical information. You don't think that your family knows what you want to do when you get sick. Then you go from your doctor upstairs down to your dermatologist downstairs because you still got poison ivy. You fill out those 3 sets of forms again, same afternoon. And then if the next week you go to another doctor, you fill out those 3 sets of information again. You've spent an hour and a half just in the 3 doctor visits filling out exactly the same pieces of paper. Now that's this administrative bureaucracy government that they're talking about at CPAC.
Right.
Now that's it at the level where you poor people watching this program filling out those pieces of paper. That's where the rubber meets the road. What they're talking about at CPAC is a little bit higher level, but much of your day and much of my day is spent in non-productive adherence to all of these regulations. Now, I don't believe Donald Trump, Pence, or anybody can get rid of all of the bureaucrats that are existing because and creating their own continued lifetime employment by all of these bureaucrats. If they can change,
they're creating their reason to exist, and I don't understand.
And that's the IRS, and that's the EPA, and that's OSHA. Every one of those is creating more and more lifetime employment for themselves. If you can change direction, the thing that just by changing the public bathroom presidential directive creates all this flap on television. But what Donald Trump is saying is, I think the people in Utah, which is largely Mormon, they don't drink coffee, they're in excellent health, and the people in New York State, who are a bunch of Democrat liberals, each state ought to decide how they want to handle the bathroom problem. That's all he said. I didn't say, all he said was the federal government's not going to tell the people in Utah and the people in New York they both got to handle that bathroom problem the same.
And if your state legislature,
if your state wants to do this, go
put
do
something
it.
In place, Donald Trump's not coming in and saying no,
right.
no.
It's not my
That's all he
business.
did.
Okay.
I'm
going to go one more time. The purpose of the federal government, according to the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, is to provide for a common defense and promote the public welfare. Well, that's roads, and that's communications, and that's the telephone system, and that's the military. But it doesn't have anything to do about public bathrooms, and it doesn't have anything to do about health.
Well, that's why
health information
Bannon said
protection.
yesterday its very first thing was national security and sovereignty.
Yeah, well, that's what it says. And
That's
it doesn't say anything about education or public bathrooms or health protected information or advanced directives or OSHA. That stuff, anyway, the government ought to get out of it.
Let me say something real quick before you move on.
Before we talk about the allergies?
I want to say it's a home run, because I'm going to just tell you, I myself, don't mind going to the doctor. I know there's the stereotypical, well, men won't go to the doctor. I don't mind going to the doctor that much. I don't like to do the paperwork out in the front that takes a half hour.
Exactly what I said.
And I'm serious. I think actually, sadly, people may not go to the doctor. They don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
A lot of that's intrusive. And the doctor doesn't want it. The doctor doesn't need it. Now, he needs that one that says, do you smoke? Did your father have colon
I understand.
cancer?
He
But
needs history.
Personal history.
He needs your health history.
Health history, needs to know about your occupation, what you're exposed to, what you used to do.
He doesn't need your debit card PIN number.
He does not. And he doesn't need all that stuff about health protected information. Anyway, let's go back now.
All right.
You go.
But no, when you said paperwork, that struck it with me.
That's why I said it. I want the people out there to think, well, he's talking about Steve Bannon, he's talking about Maryland and Washington and these big shots, and I'm just out here trying to get to school, or I'm just trying to get to work, and it doesn't really affect me, but it affects you every day, and it affects you when you go to a place. Your husband works at a spot where they got him in you're here setting a bunch of stuff. It makes his job hard, and OSHA comes in there and tells him that there's too much oil on the ground and everything else. It's a lot of regulation. And
I understand.
All right. Okay, so the people who called in about the allergies, one of them was, do allergies get worse with time?
Yeah, do allergies get worse over years?
Okay, I did a lot of work. 35% of parents report that their children have a food allergy within the first 2 years of life, 35%. If you test children in the first 2 years of life, between 10 and 20% will have a positive test for allergy, even though they don't have symptoms. The next question was, do allergies outgrow themselves? Can they go away, or do they invariably get worse?
Right.
Virtually all of those pediatric allergies in the first 2 years begin to disappear at the second year and as they age. So that yes, most of those intolerances to food in the first 2 years, which appear to be allergic, and it's grandmother and mother who make that diagnosis, say he just doesn't tolerate corn, or he just doesn't tolerate milk. The common things are milk, fruits, and that's primarily strawberries, vegetables, that's primarily tomatoes, nuts, the one that gets the fame is peanuts, and those ones that are milk, strawberries, and citrus fruits, tomatoes and so forth, that generally all goes away beyond the second year.
Well, I'm thankful for that, because I love strawberries, and nothing more I love than the Strawberry Festival down in Florida. When is it Plant City, Florida, the big strawberry festival?
Yeah, and I think
but when I was little, I was allergic to strawberries. Yeah. So I experienced that myself.
So the question then is, do they generally get worse? These childhood allergies generally do go away. Okay. Now the second one was, do they generally get worse? I mentioned to you last week, you were talking about being allergic. Been here 15 years or whatever it was. I says you weren't very allergic in year 1.
Exactly.
You were more allergic in year 2 and year 3 than you were in year 1. And that's because you have to develop the allergy to the new things you're being exposed to. So in that sense, yes, they get worse. But once you've got the established allergy, generally you have a similar amount every season or every year, the differences being whether you have a whole lot of sun, or everything comes in bloom at one time, or whether it delays. So that's just a dose severity. The next question there they asked was, is there a natural treatment for allergies? It opens a whole realm of discussion. First of all, there's no definition of what does natural mean. And as you know, when you go to the grocery store and something says it's natural, the FDA doesn't have any definition of natural. Yes, some of the meat things, if it says grain-fed, no antibiotics, and so, those are actually industry standards, not federal standards that set that rule. So when you're talking about natural, you're talking about supplemental foods or whatever, there is no definition of that. But in the natural websites where they talk about treating allergy, they divide those treatments into sort of common sense things. One, they talk about flush or clean. Well, that's neti pot and using the sniff and all that sort of business. Allergy-proof your house. We'll get back to that when we talk about the man who's allergic to the cats here in a few minutes. But common sense in the way physicians treat it is you put plastic over your pillows, and you get rid of all your curtains and your rugs, and you get the mites out of the house, and you close the windows when it. But that's all trying to separate you from the pollen, not in any way naturally prevent the pollen from doing what it does to you. In terms of having anything natural that'll block those two things we talked about last week about the antihistamines and the antitrienes, the two type of nasal sprays, the answer is no. Now, people say, well, what about honey? There's a huge flurry of interest now because one of my daughters, I think I've told you, we've mentioned it before, it was so compulsive. I mean, she had hand wiped and washed off the tables every time she took them to a restaurant and everything. Dropped something on the ground and it went in the dirt. You know, we used to say in my house, if it hadn't been on the ground 5 seconds, you can eat it. So there is a tremendous new interest in not sterilizing the environment for that baby from the day he's born till he's 2 years old. Remember, 35% of those kids in that age group, their parents think they get allergic to stuff. And so the idea is that if those kids get honey, local honey, not honey from the supermarket, that local honey made in Fannin County, Gilmer County, Union Towns, or whatever, from the trees and grasses that are in that county, given to a kid or given to you, will help expose them to the allergens in a different way than sniffing the pollen, and can diminish somewhat the allergy they might get to fruits.
That's
and vegetables.
interesting.
And then the second is let them play in the dirt. Because you remember the biggest allergy in the inside of the house is the dust mite, mold, and the cockroach. Well, your carpet and the dirt on the ground, you know, and your puppy dog, they got the mold and the cockroach and that stuff on them. So let the puppy lick their face. Let the cat sit in their lap. Let the cat get hair all over them. Don't try to put them in a space capsule from the time they're born till the time they go to first grade. Let them live a little bit. Get some skint knees, and stick a splinter in their foot and things like that, so that they are exposed to the environmental allergens and things that they can become immune to and make immune to. I think that gets all the questions, except that one about the best one. Read the best one that your wife sent me right there. Go ahead. You might need your glasses. Bottom one.
Do I need to read this?
Yeah, you
out
read
loud.
It. Yeah.
If your husband is allergic to cats, and I really like cats, should you ask him to move? Oh yeah, that's funny.
All right. Well, that actually is part of a much longer joke that I've heard a long time ago. And it says, you don't have to ask him to move, just go ahead and let him spend more time with your sister, who doesn't have the cats.
I don't know about it.
But anyway, that's
Lonnie,
that's
close
part
your
of
ears.
the joke.
That was it. Young people can't handle that.
And the other thing is, what did I say last week? Because I'm going into the treatment of that, really. What I said last week about if you're going to go visit a cat, 6 hours before you go visit the cat, you need to take the over-the-counter Claritin, Zyrtec, or Allegra, take the over-the-counter Singulair, take the over-the-counter Flonase, takes the over-the-counter, those things, take them 6 hours before, and then go visit the cats. So assuming that your husband has the cats, and doesn't like the cats, and you got the cats, and it's allergic, then when he comes home from work, treat him. Now, I don't know what you do if the reason.
Well, you know, I've had that excuse for years, and just in 1 week, just like that, you ruined it. 1 week, just 1 week. I had it for years.
Well,
just in 1 week.
Lonnie was telling me about his relationship where his
now Lonnie gets in trouble.
Significant other wanted to have a cat, and Lonnie said, you know, I don't particularly like cats, so they got 2 cats. And I just thought that was a real demonstration of what a nice man he is, and
so
or either how tough she is, one or the other, or maybe even some of both.
So he didn't care for cats, and she wanted a cat, so they got 2. I don't know what else you have on the medical line.
Pull it up. I'll bounce off of you. I did say The two things that I got people that asked me this week that know
That's what I was
about
saying.
this.
You got
One of them was that the article that came out late in January in the Journal of the American Medical Association was kind of excerpted and then broadened at the Chattanooga newspaper. And a lot of people here get the Chattanooga newspaper. And it printed out a county by county or hinted at a county by county incidence of malignancy that would show that certain counties in North Carolina, Tennessee, or Georgia that are relatively close to the old copper mines in Copper Hill have a higher incidence of lung cancer, bronchial cancer, head, neck, and laryngeal cancer than the nation as a whole, or the state of Georgia, Tennessee, or North Carolina as a whole. And is that due to the location being near the copper mines? And they had broken it down and shown that these sort of rural counties have a higher incidence of smoking and obesity than the remainder of the state. And those two risk factors are probably the most important and not where you happen to live. And it got us onto the discussion about the fact that the breast cancer incidence is higher in certain counties than it is in others. But if you look at that, that's related to the obesity in those counties. And we had discussed this a few weeks ago, and I just thought it was important to tell people you don't have to move out of the mountains because you're worried about getting cancer, because they used to mine copper up here.
Well, you know, I have a couple things before we wrap up today. Number one, now you are more than obviously you're more than welcome to join us.
I have to go to work, you know.
No, not into 9 o'clock. I want to do something else. I want to facilitate, especially is it Dr. Tidman?
Yeah.
Dr. Tidman, yourself. I want to facilitate 4 or 5 physicians, if we could, and do a segment, maybe something we do during the week or whatever, we record at a different time, on Obamacare repeal and replace. Okay. If we could do that, because I'll tell you what, Lonnie made an interesting point yesterday. When I say we, the media continues to talk about insurance. Insurance is a business, okay? It needs, I keep hearing the Republicans, and I don't think that they're getting their message out. It needs to be patient-centered health care.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, that is an insurance company bill to me.
That's a label.
Exactly.
It's a label.
But it needs to be, we need to have patient-centered health care. And I mean, there's a concern in the transition. I would like to hear from physicians of how they think the transition could work, from getting rid of that, getting into a patient center. You have to work every day with the insurance company. You have to work with the patient that has to fill out the paperwork. You have to deal with the patient that wants to know from you before you see why his shoulder's hurting. You have to answer to him, doctor, what's hurting today? Well, first of all, why do I got to fill out 30 pieces of paper? Well, let's get right. You have to deal with every step of that all the way through.
Yeah, I'd like to say
now, you can comment if anything you want now.
All right, let me,
but I'd like to do something like that.
I was the medical director of the first HMO in Georgia, sponsored by Aetna Health Plan. And I learned about the business of financing of health care, which is extremely complicated. And Obamacare, unfortunately, the label, Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare, TRICARE for life, any of those labels are simply labels for how the organization to pay for medical care is. Down here in delivering medical care, we know what tests to do and what kind of surgery to do for people. The issue of paying for it, how do people get paid, is what the complicated issue is. Not the delivery of health care, or is Dr. Tidman or I spending enough time with the patient center of the health care. But that paying part is extremely complicated. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think I know the right answer. I have said before, everybody has to have skin in the game, and we made that a part of our program when I started it. And if you walk into an emergency room because you're too lazy to go to a doctor, you don't want to take time off from work for a runny nose, and you got to use emergency facilities, that's $1,000 charge, where you could have gone to the minute clinic at the CVS and seen the nurse for $12 or $25. I mean, there's something wrong there at the patient end of trying to get into the system. And the idea of organizing the way that medical care is paid for is the burden. I mean, that's what Obamacare was all about, and that's what the Affordable Care Act's all about. And finding the way to incentivize the patient to participate in his own health care. We brought this up a couple weeks ago. You mean to say, oh, I have to take responsibility myself? Yes, you take responsibility for maximizing your health care, but you also have to take some responsibility for getting into the system when you're healthy, like Lonnie, so that when you're old like us and using it up, you've been paying into the system, so to speak. I mean, you've been supporting the system. Right. Now, if Lonnie waits until he's 50 and he's diabetic and hypertension because of his weight, and then he buys insurance 6 months before his heart attack, I mean, that's not fair to the system. And that's really what Tom Price is talking about getting people into the system when they're healthy and incentivizing them to stay there through tax credits or the savings accounts or whatever. I'm not near smart enough to know.
Well, I mean, but we're going to hear so much in the next 6 weeks, and I say in the next 6 weeks because the president says it's moving along, and Tom Price, and I do think, like everything else they say that is not going to happen or is chaos or can't happen, I think this is going to happen. I think Tom Price is serious. I think the president is serious. I think Paul Ryan's serious. Mitch McConnell says we're repeal and replace it just the other day. They keep very adamantly saying that, but the media continually wants to go another direction. So my concern in the next 6 weeks is maybe to do something just to help any way we can get information out.
I'll be happy to support that, and I think it'll be very complicated. But I'd like to caution you. They came out 2-3 years ago with an all-new F-150 pickup truck.
Aluminum body.
What they did was they took 700 pounds out of the weight by changing the aluminum body. It's still an F-150 Ford pickup truck, but they labeled it new. When you talk about repeal and replace, you're really talking about a label. What happens down here is not going to repeal or replace everything there is in Obamacare, because Obamacare has that, it's got flu shots, it's got everything else in it. So much of what you are replacing is, you're going to have to put a new aluminum body on healthcare. You're going to have to put a new infrastructure on healthcare, but you're still going to have basically the same engine and drivetrain. You've got to have portability. You've got to have the pre-existing conditions. You've got to have a bottom. I mean, I'm going to have to pay $8,000 in deductible or whatever it is for my insurance, but if I break my neck or get multiple sclerosis, there can't be a limit at the top. So all that stuff has to come with you. So when repeal and replace, we really need to understand that repeal and replace is labels, and that there's going to be a whole bunch of the basic parts of that F-150 pickup truck that will survive repeal and replace. And it's going to be lighter, and it's going to have a new underbody, and it's going to look different. But the core pieces of our healthcare system, which right now lets you keep your kid on until he's 26 so he has time to get a job and he doesn't get off when he's 18, lets you keep it forever. If you get diabetes or something else, you never lose it. Gives you that care without a limit at the top. Those things have to stay, and you got to throw away that junk that you got to have insurance that sails across state lines. You've got to get rid of the bad parts. So I think it's going to be very difficult. I really don't want the public to just demand that somebody come in with a light switch and say, boom, we threw this away and we brought this out. I think Tom Price and those people are smart, and that they're trying to find a way to repeal and replace in such a fashion that the good pieces of American medical delivery remain. And that this stuff about HIPAA and all those pages and bureaucratic junk goes away.
I'd like to end with this from you telling our viewers out there, but the process is in good hands with Tom Price.
Oh, yeah, Price is in wonderful hands with
right.
Tom
So,
Price.
so the process, people that are concerned about the process.
Oh, no, the process.
You know.
I know Tom Price.
Right.
No. As I said, when I
hands.
verified that, I am confident that people that are so much smarter than me or you, they might not be smarter than Ray Tidman, but they're smart. I'm serious. Ray Tidman's really smart.
He could get wound up.
But he's really smart. And one thing else is we want to keep people from getting wound up at the legislative, at the legislative and the staff. We don't want them up there to listen to their own voice.
Right.
We want them up there to get people that they disagree with to be able to take the best pieces of both of what people have. That's the way you're going to get people to come across the aisle. I mean, this coming across the aisle, I was talking to Zell Miller's wife last night. I mean, Zell was a Democrat who was a conservative. I mean, he was across the aisle. And you know, he was unhappy with that's a long time ago. They weren't getting across the aisle. We got to find some way for good Democrats, people who are honest Democrats, and very conservative Republicans who are. You do know you just said honest Democrats. I just wondered if you recognized you said honest. I did.
And Democrats.
I mean, I've known a lot of them.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, I have. No, but I've known them. They're
It's a
there.
joke.
We don't see them though. They don't stand up on TV a lot, but they're
We
there.
can't see them.
No, but they're there. I mean, they're there. Now, I'm not sure we got a bunch of them in the legislature from Georgia, but there are.
As you can see, my all-star panel's assembling, and our all-star panel's assembling.
We have Jane's here, so yes, you can start.
Yeah. So, anything we left out today?
No, we'll talk about the distribution of fat around your waist and heart disease and all that stuff another week.
Let's do that. Thank you very much, Dr.
All
Whaley.
right.
I've always enjoyed this segment. Don't forget, if you have questions, just like you sent last week, if you have questions for Dr. Whaley, you can send those to 706-889-9700 or chief@fetchernews.com. And when he's here on Fridays, he'll be glad to answer your questions. So you send those throughout the week if you have something for Dr. Whaley. We want to
I'll
thank
learn something myself.
Yes, and I want to thank Georgia Cancer Specialist for this segment. Coming up right after these messages, our all-star panel has assembled. We're going to get everybody in here. How do they feel the week is going? Have they been watching CPAC? What do they think? And obviously, you know, I'll tell you what I think, right? If you're not new to the show, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge, Blue Jeans Pizza. You got to come down here and get the pizza, stromboli. There's a whole list. Take us to break, Lonnie.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hi, Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
It's a new year, new you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. We're at Blue Jeans Pizza. And we now have our all-star panel. If it's 9 o'clock Friday morning, we have the all-star panel. We have our resident blonde, Jane. How are you? Right? If you have a panel, you have to have a blonde. All right, how are you doing? We have Jane, Rick, and Bruce.
This is a great team.
I gotta say, Jane, Rick, and Bruce. You know, and what I think about is what I want to say next is like, I wonder when I say like, what have the three of you been up to? Yeah, up to something.
You can't ever ask that.
Welcome.
You know, she said something. JRB with BKP.
Yeah, leave that to me. I'll do the writing, okay?
Work on that.
Have I asked you to join the writing team? Yeah. Holy mackerel. Okay. Anyhow, all right. Let's start out CPAC. Let's go with CPAC. Let's start out with CPAC. I have watched Steve Bannon and Priebus 3 times. I know I'm different, okay? I've watched it 3 times because they knocked it out of the park, especially Bannon knocked it out of the park for me. He validated so many things. You know, there's so many things that I have thought about Trump, about how it's his administration, how everything's working. And Bannon did a lot of validating to me what's going on inside. I thought that was awesome. He has been called, what, Darth Vader, you know, and all this, and it over the top. So my first question, and just take it, in the past, how many of you have actually watched CPAC or really focused on the week that CPAC, the convention? How many of you really
watched it briefly, but I haven't focused on it.
All right. In the past?
In the past.
You?
When they've announced that there was somebody special coming to speak, you know, I pick up on that, but, you know, I didn't watch all the trailers.
How about you?
No, I didn't watch it.
This year, more interest?
Yay, both.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Right. This year, I've always watched CPAC in the past, and I don't want to leave out Ted Cruz. He knocked it out of the park yesterday also. Okay, he was great. But I don't want to leave out Ted Cruz. But in the past, I've watched CPAC. I mean, it's a conservative cheerleading weekend. You know, you got to call it what it is. It's 3 days where they get up there and politicians line up. You know, let me tell you what I did yesterday. I was going back and I was thinking to myself, I was listening to actual conservatives, and I was wondering, how the hell did you ever cheer at CPAC for George Bush? I'm sorry, that was just me. I mean, that's just me. I was just wondering, how did you ever cheer for some of these other people when you actually got?
I want to go back to your point. You were looking at original conservatives. Who were they? Who were you watching?
Did he say original? I think he said.
Did I say that?
I think it was real.
Don't hold me to my words.
I would say the tape.
Why do I do everything on tape? Why do I do it?
Lonnie.
Yeah.
But CPAC came out of the Barry Goldwater movement.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Came out of the Barry Goldwater movement. CPAC did, and actually, I voted for Goldwater. No, I didn't.
I did too.
Well, if you were able to, you tell them you were old enough to vote for Goldwater.
Yeah, they didn't check my ID. They didn't ask me where I live. I just walked in there at 14 and signed the thing. I don't even know.
I had a 6-pack of the ginger ale. You remember the Goldwater ginger ale? They used to give that out.
What year was that?
That was
68, was that one?
68.
After they finished the ginger ale commercial there, we'll get back to CPAC. Okay, did you watch Bannon yesterday?
I did.
What did you think?
I mean, I thought it was a good piece with he and Priebus. You know, kind of a hey, we're not bad guys. We share an office. He's got the fireplace. You know, they're making.
I have the war room. He's got fireplace with couches over there. Yeah,
exactly. So I thought that was a really good piece, coming out and just trying to, you know, just put some information out there to put those fires to rest that they're fighting in there.
And I think it was very good that they came out, and they have 2 different personalities. They are 2 different people, 2 different personalities, 2 different approaches. But you know, it's like you do this, you go like that, but they're coming back to that because Donald Trump's in charge.
That's been the roadmap all along, though. Trump has been putting in everybody with different personalities. It's not a bunch of Me Too people.
I didn't get a chance to read the entire article, but there's an article where it's the first time in years. I forget the president they named, and I don't remember the president in the article, but It's the most open door Oval Office policy since, I forget the president, that for years, an open door. Going back to Bannon yesterday, the media has tried to paint Bannon and Priebus against each other, don't like each other, so on and so forth. So I thought that was good to come out in public, especially in front of their audience, and show, hey, we have offices side by side, we both have our jobs to do, but we get along, we're friends.
Yeah, Priebus said they meet in the office at 6:30 in the morning and they're there till 11:30 at night.
Exactly.
And we're working together.
What, when they were sitting there, I thought they did an outstanding job, and I love Bannon as he explained, look, they're not going to let up on the media, and I agree with them. I mean, I'm going to give you the thumbnail sketch, right? Bannon says, hey, the primary, Donald Trump had the most chaotic primary. He couldn't bring it back. It was a mess. Nobody was in charge. The general election, same thing. The transition team, it's in chaos. We're hearing reports of this and that. Now the administration. Well, according to the media, they've never had anything right, but they're in charge, right?
Exactly.
So,
but he had to say that, I mean, because the media isn't going to give up picking and you know, just kind of discouraging everything Trump says or does. So, I mean, it just follows. They're going to be, you know, on offense for 4 years.
do you think Trump has made a mistake taking on the media the way he has? No. You don't think so?
He has to do that. I don't think
he has
a
to
choice. Or else he has to, because I don't know if the majority of the people nowadays are just watching mainstream news. I think a lot fewer are. But I know a lot of people, that's all they see. And if Trump didn't take it on with tweet and everything else, they'd never even think about, oh, that might not be right. I think they have to take it on.
You think they have in you?
I don't think they have a choice. They don't want a choice. They wanted it.
Well, I have heard some people, and I want to hear what you think. I've heard some people say, especially all of the brilliant ones that get a job around the table. So obviously, I'm not smart enough to get a job around one of those tables. We have to come to the pizza. We have to come to the pizza joint on Friday morning. Yes, we're around the table. But I've heard some of them say, well, they're just making matters worse with the media. That everything Trump does with the media, it's just it's increasing the divide with him and the media, and they're obviously going to be upset with him.
Is that John McCain and Lindsey?
Well, I think yes, but I agree. But what I'm thinking is if anybody thought for 1 minute the media was going to like him, and I got to refer to Rush on this one. You know, Rush has said for years, you know, one of the worst things is when Republicans somehow feel that on a given day the media likes you. The media does not like you, right? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm still shocked that no one has picked up on what's her name? Mika Babushka?
Brzezinski.
I call her 20 different things, but Brzezinski.
I love it.
Yeah.
How did they get away with saying that that's our job to control what they think?
Wait a minute.
Because the media has become the self-appointed arbiter of fact and opinion for Americans.
And we'll let you know what we think you should know.
The media feels it's their job to create our reality.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
That's the bottom line. That's what they think. They think it's our job to create. It's like I said the other day. I said, you know, there's the guy that he's headed home. His friend calls him and says, you going to show up for bowling tonight? He says, no, I can't go bowling. Why not? Because I'm all stressed out. Well, why are you stressed out? Well, two things. Number one, I keep hearing that I'm going to lose my health care, and I've been concerned all day long, and they won't be quiet, and I'm stressed out. And I thought I was okay, but then there's a new poll out that says Americans are stressed out over Donald Trump, so I can't go bowling. I mean, you understand?
Who told you to be stressed
out?
out?
Who told you to be stressed out?
The media did.
Yes.
Yeah, and think beyond the results of the poll. Like, how big a poll? You know, who are they talking to? It just, come on.
I ask people every day, how is this guy in 30 days affected you in your life? He hasn't. Nothing's changed. Now, some people have circumstances that take place in their life, right? but nothing's really changed in most Americans' lives in the last 30 days. But the media would lead you to believe that the disaster is so, I mean, it's like, I don't know how to describe it.
I think something has changed in most people's lives that are on the on the conservative side. They got a lot of hope.
I agree with that.
As opposed to being
That's a good point.
depressed, I'm feeling great. And then you see the other side saying, well, why haven't you fixed Obamacare yet? Why haven't you gotten those taxes in 31 days? And that just irritates me to death. They're starting, but I feel great. I feel great when I get up. I feel hopeful. And I think a lot of Republicans do. They're just trying to make us think we're not.
Let's go to immigration, because we talk about Kelly. The rule of law, what do you think about what he's done on immigration, or what he has put in place with Kelly? Homeland Security, 287G, which we've talked about. What do you think about what he's doing as far as immigration is concerned, illegal immigration is concerned, in the past 30 days?
I think he's basically enforcing the laws that are on the books, like Obama and even Bush, to a degree, should have been doing for, 10, 12 years.
What say you, Rick?
I think the same thing. I mean, he's getting a bad rap for making all these changes when he's not made any changes at all. All he's doing is enforcing, like Bruce said, what's on the books.
The only change is he does the law.
We're a country. We're a country of rule of law, and that's what I think was emphasized when, AKA Darth Vader, came out yesterday. I mean, it gave him a human side, and he talked to, that was his first bucket, wasn't it?
I think so. Was that his first interview?
Yeah, I mean, protection.
He had 3 buckets. And the first of the 3 buckets was national security and sovereignty.
National security and sovereignty. National security.
Something strange is that's the Constitution. That's actually the first role, and that's why I like what Bannon did. That's the first role of the President of the United States: our sovereignty and our security.
That gave him an amazing human side that I don't think people have seen from him before, because he's always this, dark character in a back room. So. They haven't really done anything that shouldn't have been done in the past.
I think, what President Trump has not created, and he can't create law, obviously, but there's not been a new law created. All they're doing is enforcing the law, period. Mm-hmm. That's it. Are we a lawless society? Are we pushing? Look at in 30 days. I mean, look at there's manufactured protest. We know that. We can discuss the manufactured protest. And I say the media is the marketing arm for the progressives. Okay, I think 3 of us all know that. They're the marketing arm. There's manufactured protests. We've talked about the OFA. We've talked about MoveOn.org. We've talked about a side of the OFA, which is SaveMyCare.org, and the list goes on. But on some of this stuff where we've seen Ferguson, we've seen Charlotte, we've seen what happened in Florida, in California with the illegals there. These are, the immigration side has got some what I call true protest, I guess, on lawlessness. Are we going to be able to accept enforcing the law from coast to coast?
Well, I think the whole rule of law statement is a nation of laws is used and abused. I mean, Obama used it more than once, and it all depends, what situation they're dealing with, how they use it. So, I think what Trump is doing is, we're a nation of laws. This is a law that's on the book. We're going to enforce it. If you don't like it, well, it's because everyone's gotten used to it not being enforced. So whenever you get used to something just being status quo, any change is going to create pushback.
Obama had a Department of Justice that he was able to manipulate.
Okay.
All he did was dictate basically to them however he did it. These are the laws that I want enforced, and these are the laws that I just kind of want you to turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't really, in some instances, and that's why the Dems, I think, went after all of Bush's attorney generals. He was doing the same thing.
And you?
Well, I think Obama is being manipulated by people. The Soros is actually, I think he was being manipulated. Now I think he's being backed. But the conundrum, I believe, for following the rule of law, yes, it's the rule of law, and yes, I want to follow it. And Trump's doing that. It's just that they bring out, we're taking the children from their families. I mean, it's a problem, and they're going to get around that issue, I think. But to me, the bigger problem globally is that, and Bill O'Reilly said it the other night, and sometimes I don't agree with him. He's a little officious, if you ask me. But he said, what gives Mexico the nerve, the audacity to say, we're not taking our people back. You can't stop our people from coming across your border. We are not going to stand for that. What gives them the audacity to do that?
Yeah,
so that
it is
puts them
we
have for
Canada
years.
doesn't do that.
No country does it. I have a place in Mexico.
We have for years. I mean, what gives them the audacity? Actually, we have. We've done that for years. I mean, maybe that's four of us sitting at this table.
Done
but
what?
this country has allowed them to come over that border.
But I know.
And
But
now.
if I went to wait tables and I'm at my place in Mexico, I want to get a job. They find me out. They put me in the jail, and it is not a nice jail either. I mean, they are rigid. As
jails
big.
go, it's
Yeah,
not
but
really
people who don't get outside
They don't have they don't have
People don't
curtains,
have
huh?
no clue.
They don't have any clue
Why don't
about
they-
how work rules are enforced outside this country. They think it's all, you know, just like here, and it isn't. It's
As
totally
soon
different.
as our army, the guy that was detained that just went over the border, remember a while back,
Yep.
and then Mexico held him in jail and Obama wouldn't say anything, that's when our house went up for sale.
That was the
In Mexico, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to spend one dime on one more taco.
that was the GI that got
Wait a minute.
Mexico.
No way. Okay. First of all, I haven't got past. We had a conundrum here. What did we have here?
The conundrum was
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't got past that. All right.
Spell that for me.
No, I'm not touching that one.
It's only 3
and
syllables.
Second, you're not going to spend another dime on another taco
in Mexico.
in Mexico. I just want to get that on the record.
First of all,
Not
your
a
dime
dime.
wouldn't work down there.
Yeah,
Right.
great. But
Works pretty well, actually.
Could
They
you
love
tell
it.
me where to have the dime taco? Okay. All right.
But just to follow up, you know,
Go ahead.
when I went to Belgium in the early '80s to work there, I had to, you know, get a work permit. Took, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks. You had to go register with the police in the town where you lived. You had to have papers, pictures. I mean, it's not easy to go overseas to
Well,
most
you know,
countries.
I know how this sounds, and people think that sometimes I'm simple or I make light of things. Friends, I couldn't get a pineapple back from Australia, because, and that's the God's honest truth. They took it out of my bag, and they took it out of my bag, and I couldn't get a pineapple, one pineapple in my bag from Australia, and they took it out of my bag, and I asked. You know, I said, why? And then, well, agriculture, and if you brought back something that killed all the vegetation and okay, fine. But somebody can hop the border, come over here, and actually kill people. Now, I'm not making light, but I couldn't get a pineapple in the country. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, is that just too over the top? And we act like there's something, try to bring something back, okay? I mean, I have, you know, like Cuban cigars back in the day. You know, this is just
Bill
saying.
put them in my suitcase, and I didn't know it. That was not. I'm swearing to that.
You're smoggling? You smuggled cigars?
I don't
Well, you're the one that said it. Did she say it or not?
well, I wrote it down.
No, you're 100% right. Go to these other countries, and they have the audacity. The Mexicans have the audacity. Mexico has the audacity to think that we can't protect our border.
And they're playing into the left. Here is a true story. We have a very good friend who works in IT. She is British. She works in America a lot, and she makes a lot of money. She spends a lot of money here. About 4 years ago, she was in LA. She went on vacation. When she got back into the Atlanta airport, her visa had expired by 1 day. 1 day. They put her in a cell-like room. She called us. My friend works down at immigration. I called her. She says, well, we're not putting her in jail. I said, you're not what? It's one day. You know what they did? Bill called Johnny Isaacson. He called a lot of people. They deported her from that room, and she can't come back to this country for 10 years. And her visa was one day late. Now, that is a true story.
Yeah,
You believe
selective
me?
enforcement.
So I'm
It's
telling you,
selective
this woman
enforcement.
who's working doesn't want to be a citizen. And spending lots of money, and I don't know. It's just all out of control, and we have to do it. I'm sorry for the people that are going to get hurt, but we got to start somewhere.
think
with
some
it.
You know, I like what you said. I'm sorry for the people that are going to get hurt because Donald Trump said, Donald Trump said he was compassionate. And you're
Yeah.
right.
I want to put that in perspective.
Bruce is
though.
next. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't jump line.
But I think there's two issues the Mexicans are sort of like, overlapping in each other, because I think the U.S. now has said that if you're from Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, wherever, and you've come through Mexico, we're going to give you all those people back to Mexico, and Mexico is saying, hey, they're not our citizens, we don't want them. So there's maybe a little bit of intermix there. And that is a tough point. I mean, what to do with all the other South American people that use Mexico
Send
as a
them to their
conduit?
country.
It's the old call. It's to call it not my problem. That's
Somebody's
hey, they've been
problem.
saying to us it's not their problem, right? Go ahead. He raised his hand. Yes. Well, come on.
Not like I hollered at. Trump has prioritized everybody of the alleged 10 million. There's a priority list.
Absolutely.
Does the media at all acknowledge that the top priority is sending back the convicted felons, the ones that have come back in constantly? But no, they go right to the bottom of the list and they pull the Elia Gonzalez card out and say, these are the people that are going to get hurt. Based on the amount of ICE officers that are coming and that are currently employed, they couldn't get to the bottom of that list, I don't believe, in the next 10 years. However, they won't acknowledge what's on the top of that list, and that's where the focus needs to be. The media will not bring that to light.
Manufacturing your reality. We're going to take a brief break. Couple things. We always enjoy the All-Star panel. A couple things as we leave. We're for sure on the other side of this break, you'll learn something else. We've learned that Jane will not ever spend a dime on another taco in Mexico.
Pesos.
There's a whole list of things. Hey, will Mexico pay for the wall? What will Donald Trump say at CPAC at 10 o'clock coming up? It's supposed to be at 10 o'clock at CPAC, right? What will he say then? And hey, Mike Pence. He put out a Bible verse at the end of his speech last night. Wow, amazing. I'm your host, BKP. Blue Ridge, Blue Jeans Pizza and Blue Ridge will be right back after these messages.
what you gonna do with all that junk?
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
It's a new year, new you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Sorry it took us a little longer. I had to discuss smuggling with Jane. Who was that did that song, Smuggler's Blues? Who was that, Don Henley?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's your new theme song.
That was the theme song in Miami Vice.
Yeah.
I'm going to download it.
Anyhow, I'm your host, BKP. We're in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge, and we're at Blue Jeans Pizza. We come to you every Friday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. here, and at 9 o'clock, it's our all-star panel. Happy to have Bruce, Rick, and Jane, and myself, BKP. Okay, let's get back where we left. Let's get back with what time we have left. Bannon says yesterday, do you want to know, the media misses everything. So we know that. I think we're in agreement. The media misses it all?
They don't miss it all.
Okay,
they avoid it.
We're 4 for 4. Media avoids it. Okay. That being said, Bannon said yesterday at CPAC, if you want to know Trump's agenda, it was in the speeches. So when we were watching 35,000 in Alabama, Hershey, Pennsylvania, 20,000, Detroit, outside of Detroit, 20,000, even in Minnesota, 20, no matter Florida, that is his agenda. Okay, it's in the agenda. So we'll discuss it, but let's go with a yes and no. Let's go with yes and no, and then we'll put it on the table to talk. Because I want to know how you think it will happen. Will he make Mexico pay for the wall, Bruce?
Yes.
Will he make Mexico pay?
Yes.
Will he make Mexico pay for the wall?
Yes, in several ways.
Is it yes or no? Okay.
You know, I can't.
If I want somebody to not answer a yes or no question, I'll go home. I'm married. Okay. So anyhow, holy smokes. Anyhow, no, I have so much fun. Okay, yes or no? We all got the yes or no. Okay, yes. 4 yeses. How's he going to make him pay for the wall, Bruce?
The dime taco is going to a quarter.
How long you been holding that one? Oh. Sorry, taco fans in Mexico. That was, all right, we figured it out. We go home. Finished. Work's done.
Yeah. The capital gains from the rental property.
Yeah. I don't record it. Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. You got your clip.
Strike one, Bruce. Strike one. 2 more, you're out of here. You got it? How's he pay for the wall? No, you didn't answer. How's he pay for the wall?
I don't know.
Okay. How's he pay for the wall?
I think that's what the boys are there to do right now. They're getting
Tillerson and Kelly.
And Kelly.
Okay.
They're letting them know.
Laying the groundwork.
They're laying the groundwork. They're letting them know that it's going to take a while. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but somehow, some way, and I don't think it. Let me put it this way: I don't think it's going to be a border tax.
You don't? I do. Of some kind.
Oh,
I think it's going to be some
There's
mechanism.
going to be some kind of tax,
some mechanism.
kind of way. But that's not going to be the only.
He's got to make sure that he doesn't hurt the manufacturing side, though, and because there's a lot of people nervous about that, and that's why I think he's had all these manufacturing people in.
Okay, we're gonna go. You're going down the road. Let's stay with that. Well, no, let's stay with the wall for a minute. How's he going to make him pay for the wall?
Well, I think it's going to be several ways. It could be that I'm sure that we loan money to Mexico. I mean, he could stop that and have money. He could ask for maybe some of the payment back. I don't know. I'm not an accountant, but there are so many ways. And the next thing is the wall's cost. I mean, if you just had drones, you had a room like they do in the military, and you're doing a drone, that's not a wall, and then you spot someone coming over. You can do a whole lot with drones. It isn't $10 billion, number one. But he will have them paying in a lot of ways, some that we won't even see. I think he's going to change the method and save us money, and that's how they'll.
Okay, well, first of all, Bannon says if it was on the list, he's going to do it. So I'm going to tell you, I feel Mexico's going to pay for the wall. There's two things. I think he's going to build the wall. I think Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Now, first of all, I always get amazed at the border crossing that nobody looks at. When I say nobody, but the media. So the media gets it wrong. So here's the border crossing. You know, a border has two sides. You can come across the border this way and you can go across the border that way. 2014, just in the year 2015, we illegals in this country sent back $24 billion standing at a transfer. I won't call out Western Union, but they stand at a transfer on Fridays and transferred $24 billion on the other side of that border. Okay? Now, Trump said, hey, you start asking me how to build the wall? What if I put a little fee on that wire going into Mexico up there when you stand in line sending it back? Now, I've personally witnessed that. I mean, I was in an industry for years where the majority of the workforce was largely Hispanic, and I handed out, I did payroll on Friday, and I had a stack of checks this high and went to 9 job sites and handed out payroll and watched those guys go to the bank and go to Western Union.
Did you pay Social Security for them?
Huh?
Did you pay Social Security for them?
No, they were subcontractors.
Arm's length?
I'm just telling you, if we just collected the tax that's not being paid in this country on Fridays and what's going on the other side of the wall. See, I think the media is not going to be happy. They're not going to accept Mexico paying for the wall, and this sounds silly, unless there's a check presentation and it's the big check and the Mexican president standing there and Donald Trump standing there and the check says $42 billion to the United States and then the memo says for wall. See, if we bring it in a different way, they're not going to accept that.
And we're not going to care.
Jane was referring, I think, earlier to the fact that we've already got money appropriated for the wall. It's been sitting there.
There's a lot of
Absolutely.
And what he's talking about doing is spending that money from day one and then getting it reimbursed.
Oh, but the media will not accept anything. And I like what Bannon said. And let me just say, I like what Bannon said. Bannon said, if you think it's going to get worse, he said yesterday, it's going to get worse. If you think they are going to give your country back without a fight, you're sadly mistaken. Okay? Yeah. That's what he said yesterday. He said every day it's going to be a fight.
That was his vigilant stand.
Yeah.
He said you got to be don't let down your guard.
So we agree they're going to pay for it. Now I like what Rick said because I agree with that. The media creates, because Donald Trump's not going out and telling them every single thing he's going to do. So the media creates what they think the administration's going to do on a daily basis. This is what they think, and they think that Tillerson went down there to soothe what the chaos that Trump created with Mexico, okay, and Kelly. They keep saying, well, Trump says one thing and his people say another thing, contradictory. No, Trump just goes out. He's got nothing written down. He just goes out. Yeah, we're going to deport him. We're going to round him up and get him out of here. Well, then Kelly says, you know, well, there's not going to be mass deportations. Well, Trump's not telling you there's going to be mass deportations. He's just saying that. I think Tillerson and Kelly went down there and diplomatically let Mexico know how this is how it's going to work.
You know why? Because those leaders down there have become emboldened. I mean, they've got elections too. And when all of a sudden we've got a guy who had the president of Mexico who had terrible poll numbers, terrible ratings, and all of a sudden he's standing up to Trump. So now he's developed all this bravado, and now he's king of the hill right now.
Yeah, but I think he's still behind the challenger, who's very anti-Trump. So yeah, You're right. He has a big election coming up.
Yeah,
but you know those cartels are brutal in Mexico. Brutal. I mean, they cut your ears off. I mean, it's horrible. And I think more than ears.
Strike two.
I didn't say.
You can't be, that's my censor. I have no other way to
I
censor.
will tell you, those people are
went to the bingo
terrified
card.
of the cartel. The president's terrified. They'll kill your family. They
He's
are
right, though.
Terrified. of
They're
the
bad
cartel.
dudes. He's not lying. They make fun of it. These are bad
Awful.
people. These are
Really
bad
bad
people.
people.
Bad hombres, right?
Bad dudes. And bad hombres.
Okay, now here's what you said earlier, and I think I don't want to. Okay, we have the deport all of them crowd. All of them got to go today. But I'm going to tell you, he's going to start at the top. And he's going to clean out these prisons that we're paying an enormous amount of money for. Look, Jeff Sessions is on the job. He's been there, 3 weeks. Get ready, okay? Because Sessions and Kelly, all they're going to do is enforce the law. And now they have, I'll tell you who they've got excited. Not the sheriff of San Francisco, obviously, but he has, and I'm not going to speak for the sheriff in this county, but I'm going to just say for rural America, he has their local sheriff excited because 287G allows your local law enforcement to get involved and actually follow through now.
And those directives are coming from the Sheriff's
Absolutely,
Association, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
But did you
Well,
see-
no, the president the other day put out that Sessions is they're 10,000 new ICE agents, 5,000 new border agents, and they're going to reenact. It's been on the books. It's just enforcing 287G means your local sheriff or law enforcement can deputize. They can be deputized by ICE. They can actually send their people to training, and then they can enforce immigration law on your local level.
But did you see the governor of Connecticut was on Tucker Carlson last night, and
Yep.
he basically says,
Oh, man.
we're just going to do a slowdown. This isn't going to work.
It's not our
We're going to
job."
frustrate it, and we're state and they're feds, and we're not going to do the feds' work. And
We're not doing
yeah,
the feds.
he
work.
was real in his face
Okay,
about
well,
it.
didn't I see a poll this past week, and I don't like to highlight polls in the positive way because I do talk about them negatively, but didn't I see a poll last week that 80% of people polled are opposed to sanctuary cities,
Yes,
right?
I saw the same one.
Yeah,
right.
but the 20% that aren't are in states like Connecticut, California, New York, da-da-da-da-da.
Well, I think sanctuary cities, the polls, I think we stop sending the money to them.
Oh, I
Immediately.
can't believe there are actually sanctuary cities in this
Sanctuary
country.
states.
That's anarchy.
You know, it
I
comes
think
all the way
that's
back to
flat
what we-
anarchy.
We
Don't you
talked
think?
about earlier.
Yes,
It's
I-
rule of law. It's full circle again. It's a rule of
And
law.
Hello, in sanctuary states.
Well, I don't like to say, I don't like to say fool, but Rob Emanuel is a fool.
Oh, my
He stood there and told, I'll never forget this comment, not even a month ago, he said, "You are safe in Chicago."
Yeah, right.
Chicago Tribune this morning, homicides in Chicago outpaced last year after deadliest day so far in 2017. Homicides are now outpacing last year, this is this morning's article, in Chicago after the city experienced its deadliest day thus far this year, according to data. 7 people were shot dead Wednesday, 5 shot to death on Wednesday. 5 of them killed over a 2-hour period,
Do you hear that on the news?
including a woman who was 8 months pregnant. Now, here's what I'm saying, okay? And I have experience with the inner cities when I was younger. I go to what they call it in Chicago, but some say they call it the front stoop. When it gets warm, you want to come out and sit on the front stoop, okay? Now, this might sound silly because it's 2017, you're sitting on the front stoop. Kid wants to play hopscotch. Now, I don't know, or whatever. Years ago on the front
rope,
stoop.
whatever.
One jump rope, right? They should have the right to come out there in Chicago, no matter where in the United States, sit on the front stoop, enjoy the weather, and play jump rope and not have the fear of some gang violence, somebody getting shot with a stray bullet. I mean, that just infuriates me, the thought of that. I think Trump, you want to take 20? You want to take a 20? You want to bet something? $20.
$20 that what?
Trump will say Chicago today in his speech at CPAC. You want some action on that?
I think he's going
Want some
to.
action on that.
That's the
What kind
over
of
and under.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about the horse race later this afternoon.
I'll say
Santa,
something about
Santa Anita
Chicago.
goes off at 2.
Oh, I don't do that.
Oh, okay.
But I think that they could find.
Trump says
3,000.
Chicago today. Trump says Chicago today in that speech for $20.
I think you got inside information.
Huh?
I think you've got inside information.
No, I used to have a problem. No, I'm just.
I think that they could find
I went to a program,
all the
12-step
people
program.
that were fake voting, double voting, dead voting. Trump could fill his numbers in Chicago alone.
Okay, getting
what I
back to the serious side of rule of law, where I didn't get sidetracked, but you know, Chicago, I see that come in. It just infuriates me.
Pence.
Pence. Let's go to Mike Pence. I know some of you have other things and you can't check out everything. Did anybody watch his speech last night?
Some of it.
Yes,
A
sir.
little bit. Watch it. Start breaking it down for me. What did you?
I love the start. He's very funny. He's getting a little more loose on the stump. That's good.
Yeah, when he said this guy from Manhattan and this, you know, I liked the way he
opened up well.
I think he opened up very well.
And he finished well, like you said with the biblical verse. Very nice.
I believe Pence when he stands at the microphone. I believe Donald Trump. Now, the media fact checks Trump because, you know, if it was $23,478.92 and he said 25 million, oh my God, he can't even tell the truth. You know, yeah, he blew that one.
Well,
So
look what they did with him when he said military.
right.
Oh my gosh.
It's military action.
You know, I know Mike Pence knows the verse, and I know he could have quoted the entire verse. And I wonder when the media is going to go ballistic over. I keep seeing on the internet, and let me see how I phrase this. God is back in the White House. I'll see that all the time. God is back in this administration. God is back.
You heard it with the Melania, Lord's Prayer.
Lord's Prayer.
Oh, well, they dumped all over her.
Yes. So how long? Now Pence stands up and he closes. He closes with 2nd Chronicles and
Corinthians.
Oh,
No, Chronicles, you're right.
okay. 2nd Corinthians. Oh, hold on.
No, that's right. I got one.
That's a strike. All of you have a strike.
I know.
Don't
Are
push
we
it.
all done?
Yeah, you got a strike. You got a strike. That's only one.
No, we get 3 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And there's 3 outs. Show's over. Okay.
Loosen up
So-
your shoulders here.
Pence comes out with 2nd Chronicles, and for you, Donald Trump, that's 2 Chronicles. You remember he said, what did he say? And the media just tore it up because he said, what, 2 Corinthians?
I've heard people say that.
Yeah, that's all right. But second, and he says, this is Second Chronicles 14, chapter 7, verse 14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Now, Pence knows this whole entire verse, wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land. Pence closed with that last night. Now, he condensed it down and he took wicked ways out, although he knows that. He knows this whole verse, and he brought it down. I've heard Pence, I've actually heard Trump or several in the administration, they'll say one true God. I mean, what do you make of all that going on? I mean, what's your thought on that?
Well, my mother's minister, Jack, in Dallas, in Plano, was one of the ministers that went to meet with Trump.
Oh, really?
And I heard his sermon when he came back. And Trump, I don't think he was a real praying guy before, but I think that they made a big impression on him, those ministers did. I really do. And I do think God's hand's over what's happening right now. I have to tell you.
I feel strongly Mike Pence is a, and I'll say it like this, I don't like to say a religious guy because I don't want to go down that road, but I've met religious people. Okay, so I get, don't like to say that. Because sometimes let's not go down that road. I just told you didn't want to go down that road. Oh, dang on, there's another strike.
Oh,
you got 2.
you're almost, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Anyhow, but what I'm saying is Mike Pence is a solid Christian. I know that's...
He is.
He's a solid Christian. He did not, I don't think he read that section of verse that last night from a teleprompter. I think he knows that verse. I think that came from the heart, and I think he is solid. I think he lives it from the time he gets up to the time he goes to bed, and Donald Trump's experienced it. So he's lived it, and Donald Trump's experiencing it.
In all fairness, and I agree with what he said, and I thought it was brilliant that he ended that way. That I think, if I'm not mistaken, that verse has been very westernized, if you will. If you take it out of the total context, and I don't think you can really, you can help me with this, understand the Bible unless you put it in context. That context was originally between God and Israel.
Right.
But it's been westernized to the point where if you Google that thing and all you get is posters. You get posters with that in the background and we the people and that's okay. If we can grab onto that and believe in it, but I think for the most part it was extremely appropriate.
I got a
goes
message.
Back to, the foundation of this country is Judeo-Christian tenets are interwoven with the political verbiage that they use. But I mean, the people that started this country, believed very strongly in Christian ideals and values.
Well, if God meant it for Israel, it doesn't mean that he couldn't have meant it for us. The words are, if you pray.
And you're absolutely
It doesn't say
correct.
Only Israel if you pray.
Right.
So,
Well, I think our commitment, Obama said one thing, but we know the reality of it. But I think our commitment or reestablishing our relationship with Israel in the first 30 days was paramount. I think it was awesome. I liked what Pence said last night. And, in the media, the only thing the media could figure out is, well, Donald Trump hasn't come out and denounced the alt-right. The alt-right, that's the alt-right. I'm like, because they are attacking, Jewish synagogues, and they're attacking this. Well, what did Mike Pence do this week? He went out to a cemetery that was defaced, a Jewish cemetery. Was it in Chicago or somewhere out? Where was it? But he went out there and he actually worked a couple hours helping put back, okay? And because Donald Trump hasn't come out and called the alt-right, well, that's his voters. No, man, Donald Trump is not called out, these people, why was it not important to the media? This angers the hell out of me. They want to know why Donald Trump has not come out against the alt-right and condemned this and condemned that. How come, because of the Jewish support for Jews, how come there was not this outrage of the whole world that attacks the Jewish people when Obama was there and he didn't come out and condemn Iran? I mean, Iran to me is almost like, I will take death to Israel for 500 million, Alex.
Yeah.
It says death to Israel, we drop 500 million in a pallet.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump's a bad guy because he won't come out and denounce the alt-right. I just, that
And
one.
Obama wouldn't denounce Islamic terrorism.
Exactly.
Wouldn't denounce
Yeah.
Black
And
Lives
we're
Matter.
no longer a
Wouldn't
Christian
denounce,
nation.
That's exactly what you're going down the road. That's why they're making a big deal of why Trump won't denounce, because people like you and I wanted Obama to denounce this and this and this and this. Well, Trump didn't come out and denounce.
Do they know the alt-right decimated those cemeteries? I haven't heard.
I have to tell you, I don't
can't
know who this
imagine that
alt-right
they
is.
would.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, is that the skinhead?
Maybe the alt-right, maybe there's some bad hombres in that alt-right. I don't know.
You know what? We're going to use it again. The conundrum for me. Conundrum. You
Yeah, I like that word.
Twice.
Syllables.
I almost feel like Groucho Marx.
Yeah.
Say the
Say
secret word, win $100.
I get to use it today or
Yeah,
next week.
the conundrum for me is why the Jewish community continues to support the alt-left.
There's a book about that.
I mean-
Why
All right,
you vote Democrat.
okay. We're at 9:54. We got to get ready for the Katy
You don't want
Sissine
to talk
show.
about Schumer supporting Ellison?
Make it quick. I got. We're almost.
I'm just talking
No,
about
no.
it.
All
Just
right.
saying.
Last.
Schumer.
All right. Your last thought of the day. We got to go to Katy Sissine show. So what do you
What
got?
about coal? When are we going to talk about coal?
Talk about it. 30 seconds. Go.
Coal production in the U.S. is down
I feel
because of
like,
regulations.
I feel
okay?
like John McLaughlin. Coal. Go.
You gotta look like
This is a lightning round.
Yeah.
Coal
Yeah.
production is down, and it's all because of regulations, and I think Trump is doing a lot to bring it back, and it'll be interesting to see if they can like somehow find a cleaner use for coal, which I think with our technology we can do.
All right. You.
I'm extremely concerned about the DNC. I'm really interested to see how, if Ellison rises above Perez and gets elected to that position, how the Democrats are able to justify in their mind to the American people that that's their guy.
And Ellison is he the first? He may be the first, but let's clear this up.
He's a converted.
He's a Muslim.
Converted.
He's Muslim, but he did take his oath of office on the Quran.
And he's a Farrakhan follower.
Yes.
police.
Head of the DNC. And I heard somebody the other night on one of those roundtable things that actually I do respect their commentary, say that the Democrats have not learned. They're going further to the left. They're going further the other way. Last word.
My biggest concern now is the leaks in the administration. And I know they're getting on it, but I think that's treason. I think it's much bigger than we know. And they've just got to get those Obama hangovers and never Trumpers out of there. And that's got to be done soon, because I think that's just a really
be
big
tough to
problem.
root
You
them
can't,
all
yeah,
out,
you
though.
can't, and you can't move along with real speed if you have leaks coming out. So I know they're working on it hard, and a name's been mentioned, but I haven't heard.
And you get all the protections for federal employees who've unionized. Hello.
You got to leave on that. I'm your host, BKP. We've enjoyed being at Blue Jeans Pizza here in Blue Ridge, Georgia, every Friday morning from 8 to 10. Come down, say hello, be a part of the panel. You're welcome to, or sit out here in the audience. As we close today, we're going to Katy Sissine show. A couple things. Monday, we will resume our series of 6 congressional district, U.S. congressional district candidate interviews. We started one Friday. We'll resume our series of 9 o'clock congressional candidate interviews that want to replace Tom Price in Georgia. We're going to resume that on Monday. Also, I want you to have a nice weekend. You know, we're waiting on Donald Trump, the President of the United States, to address CPAC. I want to encourage you, if you've been waiting for to get to really know Steve Bannon, Priebus, Kellyanne Conway, Betsy DeVos, Mike Pence, watch all these videos of the CPAC convention this weekend. It's a great way. Don't let the media tell you who these people are and what they're about. Listen to them yourself. I want to encourage you to do that. Bannon yesterday, I want to leave with the 3 things in the bucket, which I really enjoyed. Number 1, national security and sovereignty. Number 2, economic nationalism. And number 3, the destruction of the administrative state. How powerful. I'm your host, Katy Sissine Show. Knocked me right out of the ratings. Number 1 news show in North Georgia. Stay tuned right after this. Lonnie, did everything work today? Because I had you at 2 strikes, Lonnie. If I'd had this earlier, out of here. That's 2 cat Lonnie. We'll explain next week why he has 2 cats. Let's go.
what you gonna do with all that junk?
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
El Rey and Elijah.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Elijah.
It's a new year, new you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to the Katy Sissine Show, addressing the indoctrination of the nation. Now, today gets a little crazy. It's Freaky Friday. So we're going to talk about something that is super scary. And that is the Denver International Airport and all the conspiracy surrounding the airport. So to get us started off, I want to show a nice creepy little video with creepy music in the background that pretty much gives you the gist of what's going on. And then together, we will take an in-depth look at the whole picture.
Any traveler to Denver Airport, Colorado, is in for a scary experience. This airport has been the subject of many questions due to the unexplainable symbols, images, and stories that have surfaced. Denver Airport was built in 1995 on a span of 53 square miles. Even though Denver already had a functioning airport, a new one was decidedly built. This new airport had less runways and absolutely no new technological advancement. The only thing that this new airport has that the old one didn't is a strangely large amount of space. When looking at an aerial shot of the new airport, the layout has shocked many. Denver Airport's runways have been situated in such a way that resembles a Nazi swastika. Not only has the shape of Denver Airport been called to question, but also what is located inside. But who is in charge of all the weird nuances at this airport? The general consensus is that it is the New World Order. But who are the New World Order? Well, they are an elite group of individuals that include many of the world's wealthiest people, such as well-known political leaders and those related to the British Crown. But their main goal is to create one united world government that has no regional boundaries. But this would only be possible in one way, and that is to commit a mass genocide and narrow down the world's population to 2 billion people. Their reasoning.
So, as you can see, this is New World Order skepticism here. And it's a very intriguing video to watch. It's very interesting. And I highly recommend watching it and asking yourself what you think about it and doing your own independent research, of course. And I myself have a lot of research still to do on this topic. And I've seen this video, I don't even know how many times. I knew about it when it first came out, and it just absolutely shocked me because you can't deny what's there. I mean, of course we can say that, oh, it's just coincidence, or oh, it's just interesting art, or you know, about all these things we're about to talk about. But at the same time, you still wonder. And everybody that I've shown it to has found it to be very, very odd and has thought and sided with me that there must be something going on. So the New World Order skepticism video on the Denver International Airport, also known as the DIA, it claims that Denver Airport was rebuilt for no reason. The only difference in the airport is that it is huge. It's twice the size of Manhattan. It sums to over 50,000 square miles in size. So that's enough room for millions of people to live. Well, maybe at least 1 million. So, of course, it'd be crowded, but it's possible. That's a lot of people that could live down there. Now, in addition to that, there's also underground facilities. I mean, stories of underground facilities below the airport. And Fox did an investigation a while ago where they took down one of the reporters, and there wasn't really anything down there. So still, you wonder, what's the point? They're not really doing anything with that. They maybe use it as storage only, I guess. But there are workers down there doing things that they're not allowed to talk about. So that sparked skepticism. It was rebuilt in '95, and aerial views of the runways resemble, let's take a look, swastika. So if you move, and you might say, oh, you know, that's not a swastika. Well, if you just, you know, tweak the lines a little bit, then you can see if you move that line on the bottom, on the bottom left line, if you just drag that down to the middle line, you have a perfect swastika. So let's remove that image. I don't like that image at all. So you have a perfect swastika if you just tweak and move that little line down one. Now, if they made it a perfect one, now that would just be two out there. But this resembles a swastika so overtly that if someone were to draw this on one of their papers, or an architect were to draw this out, or who designs these runways? I don't know. So whoever designs the runway, they drew it out on paper. They knew what it was going to look like. Did anyone notice it looked just like a swastika? Did nobody notice that? Did nobody think, you know, this is a little odd, and this could be, you know, this could be seen as extremely disrespectful to many people. Even though you so-and-so, whatever your name is, didn't mean to design it like this, we need to change it. This is a huge issue, in my opinion. It resembles a swastika. Where there's smoke, there is fire, people. Must I say it again? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Sparks continue the debates about the New World Order, or the debates continue about the New World Order, especially because of things like this. The tunnels, there are tunnels below the underground buildings. So there were like 5 buildings that were put underground, and then they were moved underground or something below the airport. And they built tunnels to connect them. And this is the underground facility that I'm talking about. It's an underground base. And the bases of about 4 or 5 different bases, they look like houses in an aerial view, are connected by the tunnels that look like, you know, wide lines in the aerial view. So you have these tunnels connecting these buildings underground. What for? I don't know. But we do know there is a sprinkler system installed in all of the tunnels. And that is a little bit, that doesn't sit very well with me. When I think of sprinkler systems installed in dark underground facilities, my mind wanders to Holocaust, where people were put into rooms of sprinkler systems and told they were there to take showers and were killed with poisonous gases. So it really reminds me of that. Now, how big is this area underground? It's supposedly 88.5 square miles long. The tunnels add up to about 88.5 square miles long. Now remember, the square miles of the actual airport is 50,000, but the underground facility is 88.5 square miles. I believe this actually might be twice the size of Manhattan, not the 50,000. So don't quote me on that, because at least this is part of the same segment. So it's either the airport or I think it's the underground facilities that's twice the size of Manhattan. Sorry, my bad on that. Anyway, it's huge. So elites are reportedly also buying property by the DIA, and that would have to be obviously independently investigated more in depth. I'm going to bold that. We need to check that out. But, you know, it's said that the elite in this New World Order system and the skeptics, they think that, you know, there's a group, the Illuminati, the elite, the enlightened ones, you know, whatever you want to call them, that they hold power and that they will establish a one world government. And like we saw in the video, the only way they can do this, the only way they can control the world is if they narrow the population down significantly. And rumors have sparked that they would like to lower the population down to 2 billion, cut from 7 billion. So what happens to those 5 billion people? Who knows? So anyway, there's also a very interesting statue in front of the airport, and it says the New World, the New World Airport Commission. And who knows why they would label it the New World Airport Commission? I don't know. There's a preview of Lucifer. This is the nickname for the stallion, for the Mustang, in front of the airport that people get to see as they're taking off and flying on a plane to go to their destination. That's the warm picture they get to see out of their airplane window before they take off. That's a little bit scary. So we're gonna continue with this when we get back from the break. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I hope I haven't worried any of you out there, you know, but I'm personally working on my underground bunker right now, and no, I haven't, but I would like to after watching this video. So anyway, stay tuned into the Katy Sissine Show. Whew, you never know on the Katy Sissine Show. You just never know, people. So you can follow me on Twitter at KatyFYNTV. I'll be sure to keep you entertained, and you can email me at katy@veterannews.com.
It's a new year. New you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
Hello, welcome back to the Katy Sissine Show. And you really just never know on the Katy Sissine Show addressing the indoctrination of the nation. Now we're talking about the New World Order. So we talked about the Denver International Airport that we see in the background here. This is a very beautiful photo I found on Google. And it is over 50,000 square miles. There's an underground area of over 88.5 square miles. There's elites reportedly buying property by the Denver International Airport, also known as the DIA, which is what I'll refer to it from here on out. The aerial view of the runways resembles a swastika, which has caused much concern because you'd think if anybody put out the layout and the aerial view of the runway, which they would do before it's being built, you would think there'd be an outrage over the fact that the layout looks just like a swastika. If you simply move one line over to if you simply move the furthest left line over to the middle line, it is exactly that, and that is just completely unacceptable when we're talking about a project as big as this. So it's skepticized that the elite are behind this whole plan, that the New World Order is behind this, and that it's either set up as a place for mass genocide or as an underground safety bunker after nuclear war. There's various theories and people keep making them. Now, the interesting thing is that there is a, whatchamacallit, not a statue, but a podium made out of stone that, you know, that says the establishment date of the airport and other official information. And it states on the statue, New World Airport Commission. But there's no such thing as a New World Airport Commission. And what are they doing calling it the New World Airport Commission anyway, when they know all of the skepticism that surrounds what's been referred to as the New World Order by by the Bushes, by Clinton, by Soros, by politicians and political activists throughout history, leaning toward the left. So, well, also, and you know, Bush and his father, so not even leaning toward the left. This has been overtly expressed by people around the world. So, New World Airport Commission, non-existent. The airport is too big. It's abnormally large. It's got an underground area with a sprinkler system installed. Very, very, very extremely strange. So now we're moving on to something that, if this hasn't been strange enough already to you, then if this isn't strange to you, then you're really out there. So let's show Blucifer. So Lucifer is the blue stallion outside of the Denver airport, and when you're leaving on a plane, it's the last thing you see before you take off. I'm sure that's very, very comforting to the people that are afraid of flights. So yeah, very strange. It has red glowing eyes, and it symbolizes the pale horse, which symbolizes death, which symbolizes a mass genocide of people that brings forth a new a new era. So why in the world would they want to have this at their airport? Why would Denver want this? Now, I've always pictured the city of Denver as a happy city. You know, it's mountainous. There's, you know, beautiful places to ski. There's beautiful nature. I mean, I just think of beauty, free-spirited people. But, you know, with all of the liberalism on the West Coast, in Colorado, I think it's a safe place for it to be. If it is something about the New World Order, I think it's a good location because there are much less skeptics of the government of the New World Order, and than I believe on the right side. I believe that there are a lot more skeptics of this on the right side of the political spectrum than the left, basically. So I think Colorado is a safe place for it to be. This reminds me of the book Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, by Bill Cooper, former radio personality, conspiracy theorist, conservative. You'll notice most of your conspiracy theorists are conservatives. So that's what I mean by that. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conservative. So Behold a Pale Horse connected the dots between the New World Order, aliens, the infiltration of the earth, and the undertaking of humanity as we know it. So, and the Undertaker is the Pale Horse. So, this is some crazy stuff. You can Google this. You can search it wherever you'd like. This is factual. Jimenez, upon completing his project of Lucifer, the Blue Stallion, Luis Jimenez, the sculptor, he was late on the sculptor completion date. And the project was a $300,000 project, and there's a lot of money in this, obviously. And while he was finishing the sculpture, you know, that he was late on completing, a piece of the sculpture, a piece of the nose, fell on Jimenez and killed him. So he was age 65, and this occurred in 2006. Now, according to Business Insider, Jimenez had already spent a decade on the statue. So this is very sad, you know. So, 10 years after the airport gets up, Jimenez dies, and he's just been assigned to this weird task of creating a blue stallion with red glowing eyes to put in front of an airport. And by the time it's done, he's not able to talk about it to anyone because he's gone. So, very strange. Now, Jimenez is a very, he seems like a very nice guy. Here's a video of him we're going to show of Jimenez and how he got into being a sculptor.
My father was an artist from the time he was a very young man. He became a sign painter, and I just grew up helping my dad, helping him on his projects. Some of his neon signs were actually sculptural projects. I learned how to weld at a very young age. I learned how to paint. I learned how to do all that. The fiberglass I began working with in about 1963.
This is the belly section here.
I had been working with fiberglass on cars, and at one point I thought I could adapt this material to making sculpture.
There's more molds over here.
The Fiesta sculpture is a project that I thought of as a kind of bridge. I grew up on the border. I saw illegal families crossing. And my father was illegal from the time he was 9 until I was born when he was 25. I decided that's what I would focus on. And so I thought I'll title it Fiesta, and people on both sides of the border will be able to relate to it. I'm still working in a very traditional process. The materials are somewhat different, but the process is all pretty much the process that's been used for centuries. I was trying to keep the process I used as close to the industrial process as possible because I felt it was I don't know, for lack of a better term, maybe a blue collar process. I didn't want to go for that, that art process.
So we got a glimpse of the blue stallion at the end scene there. So that was a little bit of Luis Jimenez on his history of sculpting, and his father did it, and his father was an illegal immigrant, so he's a great candidate for the job. I mean, he knows what it's like to be discriminated against as an illegal alien through his father's experiences, and he strived to, be relatable, or make the issue apparent. He was, politically involved in that sense through his sculptures. So because of his political involvement through his sculptures, I can't help but wonder if there was some kind of political message with the Blue Stallion sculpture. As he said, he made that sculpture by the border to make people feel, more united and more as one, the Fiesta sculpture. So I can't help but wonder if he makes all his sculptures with political messages. Now let's get to these paintings. So there's murals at the Denver International Airport. So this is mural 1, and it's pretty clear what's happening here. There's a guy in a gas mask, and from his head, is a trail, is a rainbow, which is translated as poisonous gases. Under the poisonous gases, we have weeping widows, and we see the guy in the gas mask stabbing a dove in the you-know-what, and the dove is a symbol for peace. Now let's go on to the next photo, because these murals, there's several, and they're in chronological order at the Denver International Airport. They all have an order to them. So this one, we can clearly see the poisonous gas still coming from the guy in the gas mask. So you can clearly know that's from him. It's a poisonous gas, but he's dead. And now there's a rainbow over all the people, and they're all happy. That symbolizes a mass genocide. If that doesn't symbolize a mass genocide to you, then I don't know what does. The guy symbolizes a mass killing, and the rainbow is said to be the poisonous gas, represent the poisonous gas Australian antigen, HBsAg. On a genocide mural, it is used, it is written AUAG. Some people think it's for gold and silver, but actually it's also referred to as Australian antigen. So we'll get back to this a little bit. Leo Tanguma, or Leo, whatever you want to call him, Tanguma. He's a mural painter and a Mayan artist. Now, the Mayans predicted the end of the world. Very interesting. What a coincidence. A Mayan painter, predictions for the end of the world, the blue stallion to symbolize death, and the emergence of a new era, and the mass genocide of the current era. There's just too many questionable theories here from this Denver International Airport. I encourage you all to look at it yourselves. Thank you so much for tuning into the Katy Sissine Show today. I love to talk about these conspiracy theories. I hope to get more out soon. Please tweet me at KatyFYNTV and email me at katy@fetchyournews.com. Thanks again for tuning in.